To us, communication usually means speech, but as infants we understand our parents without actually knowing what they're saying. So, in a way, it's non-verbal communication. Horses also communicate non-verbally, and as a result are able to help heal people. It's a phenomenon riding therapy specialist Roswitha Zink is studying.
Our research has shown that horses often perceive things which take place on a subconscious level and provide feedback. This alone shows that horses react on a level far removed from our socially standardized level of communication. And on this non-verbal level, they can establish a great deal of contact with humans.
Monika had a serious accident. For weeks, no one knew whether or not she would pull through. She lay in a vegetative state. Nothing and no one, it seemed, could get through to her. Doctors had little hope that her situation would ever change. But Monika is fighting her way back into life. It's an incredibly tough fight. But she is being helped by equine therapy. Therapy involving the use of horses.
Du musst den Bauch auch näher bringen. Ja, wenn du weiter weg bist, können wir dich ja gar nicht mehr bürsten. Was machen wir da?
Here, Monika is trying to convey something.
Sie bringt dir Freude.
She makes you happy. That's wonderful.
Du musst ein bisschen näher kommen, gell?
You want to get a bit closer? For a kiss? You'll have to lean right over. That's not easy, is it? Super, well done. Can you spell out what actually happened to you?
Spelling out letter by letter is the only way Monika can now communicate.
It was a riding accident. Was riding your job?
Ich bin, verstehe ich sogar so schon, super. Military. Geritten.
You took part in eventing. That's tough.
21 months have passed since Monika's accident. Mentally, she's totally sound and dreams of completing her law degree one day. But hardly anyone thinks she's capable of it. Someone who can't speak is constantly underestimated. But Flitzy isn't prejudiced. A therapy horse, she reads Monika's feelings and wishes from her body language.
The mere attention from such a large animal can be highly motivating with regard to improving concentration and muscle movement. Like an infant, a patient in a vegetative state has to learn everything anew: breathing, swallowing, sitting and controlling the muscles. When a horse reintroduces this process through exchange on a very sensitive level, a great deal of healing can be achieved.
But how exactly does healing with horses work? And can this be proved scientifically? Roswitha Zink and her team have been focusing on these questions for several years. Roswitha Zink is the head of E.Motion, the Association for Equotherapy in Vienna, Austria. Besides offering therapy with horses, E.Motion also engages in scientific research, for example into the relationship between humans and horses. Video cameras record how human being and horse perform certain tasks together. First of all, the goal is to identify how communication between the two takes place. Because this type of research is new, the group first had to find criteria for making this type of interaction analyzable at all. What role do line of vision and physical contact play? Who gives the signal? Who takes the lead? Is rhythm used? The researchers evaluate every second of every video sequence according to such criteria. E.Motion's riding hall, stables and paddocks are located in the grounds of the Otto Wagner Clinic, a large hospital in Vienna. 17 therapy horses live here. Theirs is a strenuous job, and to be constantly fit for it, they need balance and movement. And they must be able to live with other horses in a herd situation. The demand for therapy places is huge. 400 patients come here every year. It takes a lot of time and effort to train a therapy horse. Ahioka, a 4-year-old mare, is at the start of her 3-year apprenticeship. Initially, the focus is on fundamentals every horse has to develop: self-awareness, physical control, trust and attentiveness. Pressure and coercion are counterproductive. They are a barrier to success, both in training and in therapeutic work.
We look for a long time until we find a horse that's suitable, one which is highly interested in people. Ahioka is certainly very gifted for a horse of her age, especially the open way she approaches people and the intensity of her interest in them. This huge interest in human beings, in establishing close contact with them, and in the world around is something extremely valuable.
An der Welt und an Tun und an Machen, und das ist was sehr, sehr Wertvolles.
Part 2 of the basic training involves knowledge of materials. Ahioka is now learning what she will later come into contact with. Above all, she has to watch out for patients in a wheelchair because they can't get out of her way. So Ahioka must have good control of her legs. She mustn't leap away in fright because of some unforeseen movement or some loud, unusual noise. Future therapy horses also have to learn to understand people.
In
training, it's very important for a horse to begin to comprehend that the person working with it is able to understand its emotions. Horses express tension, for instance, in very different ways. This might involve a horse waggling its lower lip, or puckering the skin around its nose, or contracting its nostrils. You might only notice that the muscles of its jaws are tight. I encourage a horse to show more clearly when it is tense or sad, but also when it feels happy and full of vital energy. Our horses learn through a prime example, first of all through one person. Over 3 years they encounter this person in virtually every emotional situation, because when I train I'm sometimes tense, or I might be sad, or so happy I could jump for joy. Occasionally, if something's not going the way I want, I'm annoyed and rather intolerant. Through me the horse learns what form emotions can take in a human being.
Therapy horses can help with a wide range of medical problems. Elisabeth Wimmenauer offers therapeutic riding in eastern Belgium. Lars has been a spastic since birth. He will need therapy all his life. This is often strenuous and sometimes boring. But on the back of a horse, he isn't even aware that he's having a therapy session.
Wenn es voll hoch steht, ist das her.
Someone suffering from spasticity has too little muscular tension in their trunk and too much in their legs. But when I put this person on a horse and have them moved by the horse, the muscular tension in the trunk increases, and that in the arms and legs diminishes. Over time, the patient's erectness shows a clear improvement. The arms and legs become more relaxed and sag because the thrust created when the horse swings a leg forward forces the stomach muscles to work hard. And when the horse puts its hoof down, the braking force activates the back muscles.
This stimulates all the muscles and joints and the brain. Elisabeth Wimmenauer sees her patients making progress day by day.
Hast du einen Walker zu Hause oder in der Schule?
At first, Lars says my legs were stiff, then they became more and more relaxed, and now the muscles are really soft. That's because of the horse, Elisabeth tells him. Yes, he says, because my legs were so far apart all the time. But what makes horses so therapeutically suitable? They can carry people, and being carried and cradled is a human need. They're also extremely social creatures and always strive to enable weaker members of the herd to survive. One reason for this is that a mare can only give birth to one foal a year, so the herd does everything possible to bring it through.
Horses would never reject a foal that was born with some deficiency. That's not in their biological makeup. They'd do everything possible to save it. I see this equine attribute of intensively integrating weaker members into the life of the herd as the reason why horses also take a great interest in strengthening, supporting and motivating humans, even though human beings are clearly weaker creatures.
After 3 months of therapy, Monika is at last able to sit on a horse again. She's so proud of the progress she's making. Her communication is also getting much better, even though it is still non-verbal. Every step the horse takes is a balancing act for Monika, one that places demands on all her muscles, strength and concentration. Flitzy, an experienced therapy mare, senses exactly how she can steady Monika if she starts to lose her balance. Monika and her family live in the Vienna woods, a range of hills near the Austrian capital Vienna. The family estate includes a hotel and a restaurant, and Monika's horses. Even though no one rides them anymore, they are still of vital importance to her. They give her strength and the courage to keep on fighting for everything that once came so naturally: speaking, walking, studying and riding. Monika and her therapist, Roswitha Zink, have known each other since their school days. As girls, they were both horse mad. But their love of horses took them in different directions. Roswitha became a riding therapist, Monika a competitor in equestrian tournaments.
I'd be scared just looking at a fence. Were you that gutsy? I'm not really a brave person, but you are still so courageous even today. You reckon I'm crazy to be scared of fences?
Monika's mum thinks that's a bit rude. She always reckoned that Monika was too plucky in the saddle. But something, she says, can also happen to people even when they're not putting themselves at risk. Roswitha agrees. Monika took a tumble while warming up. She used her mobile phone to call for help before a pulmonary rupture cut off the oxygen supply to her brain. Her mother came across equine therapy